If you ever read the history of the Peloponnesian War written by Thucydides, you must know about the result of the war where Spartans conquered the Athenians. But did you know that a dead man influenced the war? Every time I think about this fact, it will changes my view of the war. If you want to know how the dead man influenced the war, keep watching because we need to go back to 90 years ago before the war burst out. There was a baby born in 524 BC, like many other babies born at that time. His mother was born in Thrace, a poor woman, so she was not of the noble Grecian race. His father was not of the distinguished people of Athens either. He is Themistocles. In 490 BC, now grown up, Themistocles served as a general and participated in Battle of Marathon that repelled the first Persian attack on Greece. For the next 7 years, Themistocles fought an uphill battle trying to persuade the politicians in Athens to upgrade the navy. His proposal was met with intense opposition because it would mean an increase in taxes. But in 483 BC, after workers at the state-owned silver mines discovered an unusual rich vein.
Oh no!
So now they can build their navy. Themistocles convinced the Athenians to use the windfall from the vein to build a first-class navy. Despite the opposition of the powerful statesman Aristides the Just, one of the Themistocles' main rivals. By building up the Athenian navy, Themistocles laid the basics for the Athenian naval empire, which would dominate the Aegean region for decades to come. The Peloponnesian War began at 431 BC. It was to be an odd war, in which the best Greek land army, Sparta, faced the best navy, Athens. Many Greek city-states and even Persia became involved in the war, so that it had an impact on nearly every part of the Greek world. It was a civil war, and if the states of the country fight themselves, the country could become unstable, possibly causing a wide range of unnecessary damages. Especially in Athens, in the first year of the war, a great number of soldiers died, so their states held a ceremony to honor those who died in the war. During the funeral, the leader of Athens, Pericles, announced,
In short, I say that as a city we are the school of heroes. While I doubt if the world can produce a man who, where he was only himself to depend upon, is equal to so many emergencies and graces by so happy a versatility as an Athenian.
So since Athens is the school of the Greek, their only choice is to win the war to sweeten their reputation. The naval battle of the Themistocles of 405 BCE was the last major battle of the Peloponnesian War. Sparta destroyed the Athenian fleet, which Athens could not afford to rebuild with its defeat in the battle. Athens lost the Peloponnesian War. The war ended in defeat for Athens and caused the dissolution of his empire.
They followed him for survival, while he fills their hearts with fear. He fills their hearts with fear.
But here's the problem. The war began in 431 BC, but Themistocles died in 459 BC. It's 28 years before the war started, so how did it affect the war? As I said, Themistocles is a person who developed the Athenian navy. But wait for a second. Why he advised the Athenian government to build a navy? Themistocles suggests government develop the navy because he was afraid the Persians would attack them again. Not only made it possible for the Greeks to avoid the Persian domination, but also organized the navy in order to get more advantages in the Aegean Sea region. As Themistocles predicted, after 28 years, the war happened again, but the range of the war became larger, and their rivals not only Persia anymore, but also the Peloponnesian League became their biggest enemy. The Persians support the Peloponnesian League in the war, providing food, armies, and navies to Sparta. In conclusion, building the Athenian navy was a right choice for Athens, even though they lost the war. Sparta and Athens were once partners. Then they became enemies, and Sparta became a partner of Persia. Like France and Great Britain, whose relationship was just rivals for hundreds of years. However, when Great Britain began the Second Opium War and attacked China, France became their partner. Although Athens lost the war, but it can't deny that Themistocles was a loser. He committed himself to the Athenian army. He is a great leader and commander, not a loser. He needs to be remembered forever, ever.